Hey, what's going on, guys? How's everyone doing? So I guess yesterday MiHoYo put out a tweet and it's got kind of the whole community up, in an uproar, and kind of rightly so. There are some people on both sides, right? As with any controversial topic, there are going to be people that agree with the person putting out their opinions, and there are going to be people opposing those opinions. I'm personally on the side opposing them. At the end of the day, this is a controversy and one that I don't think is really necessary. Like, I don't know what MiHoYo is doing over there, but it's getting to the point where I'm kind of losing confidence in them a little bit. It seems like they're a little bit mismanaged, and unfortunately, it's kind of hurting the player base. So let's jump right in and talk about what exactly this tweet is. This is going to be kind of like more of a raw video, I'll be honest. I don't know what my full overall thoughts are going to be, but we're going to kind of go with them as we go. So this is the tweet that we want to look at right here. So recently we discovered the dissemination of leaked version 1.5 content. Such behavior not only disrupts our plan to develop and promote the new version, but also causes some travelers to have misconceptions about the content of the new version. They go on to say, here we kindly ask for the support and help of all travelers to resist leaks and maintain a fair gaming environment. We will also increase our efforts to deal with such illegal disclosures. Now, the last part of that statement, deal with such illegal disclosures, I understand where they're coming from, because the players in these beta tests do have to sign NDAs. So they are signing, basically saying, hey, we're not going to leak anything. So this part of their statement, I understand. It's the first part of their statement that, I don't understand their whole anti-leak culture, because here's the thing. Players want to know what's going on with your game. They want a roadmap because, first of all, they want to be able to plan all their materials. It's hard enough to gather materials as it is with the resin issues. That's a whole different thing. But they also want to know, like, their primo gems. Should they be saving for Venti? Should they go for Child? Or should they go for someone in 1.5? We don't know yet because we don't have that roadmap. Recently, I put out a video talking about should you roll for Venti or a potential upcoming Zhongli rerun. But the thing is, we don't even know if he's coming back. That was just an assumption. And what it looks like here, I'm not going to talk about the characters specifically that were leaked, because obviously that could get me into trouble. They kind of released, they released upon themselves that there was 1.5 content. Now, I've seen some of the leaks. Sure, I know what the characters are they're referring to. I know the content they're referring to. I never saw anything that it was 1.5. They just did that themselves. So they are hypocritical in this sense. Now, maybe I'm wrong and some of this content has already been leaked that it was 1.5, but I personally have not seen any of that confirmation. It was just kind of like, here's the info, take from it what you will. It could be 1.5, it could be 1.6, 1.7, it could be 2.0, but people just kind of assumed, at least in the people that I was listening to, it was going to be later, even though we've been seeing leaked content roughly like a patch earlier, right? So with Hu Tao, she was dropped in 1.3, but we heard about her first in leaks during 1.2, during Dragonspine, but we didn't get her till 1.3. But the thing is, they didn't even fully announce that Hu Tao was coming in 1.3 until about 2 days, what was it, beforehand? Like, come on, MiHoYo, we gotta know about this stuff a little bit more in advance than that. That's a little bit ridiculous. The fact that, first of all, you switch up the schedule. So instead of having 3-week banners, now we have 2, and we're like, oh, well, there's 2 weeks where there's nothing, or we're just gonna have no character. No, we're gonna let you know 2 days before the announcement of the character that there's a new one coming. She's gonna be great, she's gonna be super cute, super fun, but if you wasted all your money to get a ka-ching, or you just blew all your resources because you didn't know who was coming up, sorry, but you're kind of out of luck. And if you want her, you might have to drop a couple $100. Well, that's not the greatest look for this company, and a lot of people are having the same exact thoughts. A comment like this: you react to leaks in less than 24 hours, but don't do anything to account security, even though that's been complained about for months. As much as I love Genshin, that's kind of embarrassing, bestie, and I completely agree. We had an incident here on stream. It sucked. We went over it. We fixed it. But yeah, why is there no 2-factor authentication? Why, if somebody wants to log into my account, can they kick me off my account while I'm still logged in? That is ridiculous that it is still a thing in this game. That needs to be addressed. The fact that they're addressing leaks before they address security issues means that management over there, something is not clicking. They gotta figure that out first. Priorities, people. Figure out your priorities. Security should be number one. Let your players know that they can have confidence in you to fix what's wrong. Right now, it's looking kind of shaky. But then we have a comment like this, which again is kind of defending the fact that they're not doing anything. MiHoYo deserves respect for the good products they make. Agree, this game is very good. However, they also go on to say, nevertheless, they should own their mistakes. Leaks don't simply emerge from nowhere. And that's exactly the case. Now, while there might not be anything they can strictly do to stop the leaks, you know, because at the end of the day, you can always like record your screen with a phone, what have you. There's no way to like stop recording in game or anything like that. But these mistakes are happening because players want to know what is coming up in your game. Like this next person says, I think that when you're implementing a gacha system where you need people to save up for potentially months to get, you know, 1 5-star character, the responsible thing to let people at least know a roadmap of character releases. This seems like it's just for money and doesn't allow free-to-play players to plan their spending. I completely agree. If you don't let people know what's coming up, they don't know whether they should spend initially or wait. Now, while yes, MiHoYo is a company and they want to make money, so they want you to spend up front, so that way later on when a character comes you really want, you're more likely to shell out that credit card and go ahead and spend. I completely get that from a business perspective. I'm not trying to take that away from them. Eventually, you're going to have players start to have those feel bad moments. The morale is going to go down and people are going to start leaving your game because this exact thing happens. They go and they're like, oh, maybe I'll just get ka-ching, you know, because I don't know what's coming up. But then Hu Tao comes and they're like, well, I got no primos. I guess I'll either not spend, or it's a huge feel bad moment and they just leave the game because they're absolutely tired of trying to make this game work as a free-to-play player. So I can understand this person's sentiment. I think a lot of this actually stems from the whole Zhongli incident where they were, you know, we have all this content that's leaked. We're getting all hyped for Zhongli, and then he comes out and people are like, he's kind of underwhelming. And then MiHoYo had to go back on their tracks and fix his kit. But I think a more internal issue of that was that based on what we heard, there were actually very last minute changes on Zhongli based on some personnel changes in the company. Now, whether or not that was true, you know, that seems a little bit more on them than in terms of the actual leaks. But the thing is, we want these leaks so that way we can get excited about the content. If we know what's coming a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road, we have something to plan for, something to be excited for. And right now we don't have that. We are just sitting in anticipation, waiting for the new live streams because that's where we get our only updates. We're not getting any updates out of MiHoYo. We have no idea what's coming into the future. And without that excitement to keep the game going, what's it going off of? That's the question you need to ask MiHoYo. What is your game going off of? Because right now it's nothing. Let's get back in it and look at some of these other Twitter comments. But then we have people on the other side of the spectrum. So, like this person says, listen, I hate leaks as much as the next person and would rather be pleasantly surprised about new cool characters myself. But let's just take it one thing at a time. You send out surveys all the time in game, but what has changed besides crafting one more condensed resin? Well, it's 2. But anyway, the point is exactly right. What has changed since 1.2? We got some new characters. Cool. But as far as like actual content that you can sink your teeth into, 1.3 had jack all. Absolutely like nothing. Cool. We had the Lantern Rite Festival. Okay, that was kind of cool. Tower Defense, that was a success. All the little quests you had to do, wow, was that garbage. 1.4, yeah, we got mini games. That's some content you can really sink your teeth into. Dating sims, I know some people like them. For me personally, because I'm looking for that end game combat content, it is not there yet. Now, I've been saying on stream a lot, and to people in the comment section as well, that, hey, am I a whale? Yes. Why am I a whale? Because I'm hoping that eventually MiHoYo will put out that content that I am craving for, something that's long form, like a multiplayer raid, or something where I need heavily invested units. We just had a challenge last night as of recording this video on stream, where basically the challenge was I need to create 4 Abyss teams that are all able to complete floor 12. I can't share any weapons and I can't share any artifacts. And we smushed that challenge. Now, granted, there was one time we got 7 stars, not 9, but the other 2 teams we got 9 stars real easily. Really, it came down to Razor and because there's a lot of physical resistance. Anyway, besides the point. But the fact that I have 4 Abyss teams that can smoke Abyss 12. Now, that kind of sounds like a brag. I don't mean for that to be a brag, but the point is, the endgame content that's there right now, it is already too easy for a lot of players. We need more endgame content. And the fact that like with 1.5, if they do release Chasm, you know, now that it's on the map, like I assume that they're going to release like another weekly boss and then another domain, and that's probably going to be it. And that is not challenging enough. That's just more grinding. Where is the end game challenge? Even if it's not the ultimate end game challenge, where is that challenge for the players searching for it? We're not getting it. We're getting mini games. We're getting dating sims. I get that this is supposed to be a mobile game, but let's be honest, MiHoYo, I'm assuming most of your clientele is on either a console or a PC. Mobile players, I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of you out there, but I don't think that they should be the priority when we're designing content. Design content that is harder, and then if the mobile players want to rise up and they want to get a controller or something that makes it easier to play, then they can come along for the ride. But right now, it seems like MiHoYo is building content specifically for that mobile player base, and unfortunately, a lot of players are missing out because that's kind of the game they're going for. It looks like they're trying to make this more of a mobile game than they are a console game, which is kind of what they should be planning for. And then lastly, this is the last thing that I want to address here. So Ken here says, agree, Paimon, but also would the devs consider a roadmap so players can have something vague to look forward? We would be more than happy to only look at official info, but unfortunately there is very little indication of anything exciting officially. 1.4 looks incredibly bland. And then Izzy responds with, what if they don't publish a roadmap because even they don't know what the game will look like months down the track? This is something that I'm frankly worried about. Now, if we look at some comparisons here, let's take a look at Disney and Warner Brothers. Now, Disney, of course, having those Marvel movies, Warner Brothers, of course, having the Justice League movies. Marvel had a roadmap. Now, we don't know exactly how far they were looking at advance, but if you look all the way back to Iron Man in 2008, they were setting up Thanos. So they were already looking beyond Avengers. They were looking at the end game. Maybe not the actual movie Endgame, but they knew where they wanted to go. And I'm assuming that Kevin Feige had a roadmap very close to the end. Now, they probably added some movies along the way, but I'll be damned if they didn't have some kind of roadmap to know where they were going and the steps they were going to take to get there, right? They probably knew Avengers with Loki was going to be a big thing. They knew Avengers 2 with Ultron was going to be a big thing. And then they knew eventually they wanted Thanos to be the big bad of their universe. Now you got something like Warner Brothers, where they're like, all right, we need a movie. Let's put out Man of Steel. Man of Steel, in my opinion, one of the greatest superhero movies out there. I know there are a lot of people that don't like it. I liked the darker take on Superman. That's beside the point. Then you get movies like Batman versus Superman. We get Wonder Woman. And then they're just like, boom, here's Justice League. We got to set up a whole bunch of heroes. We got to get a villain who no one really knows anything about. We want Darkseid, but Darkseid's not there. And it's like you got this universal movie that's just like, it's fine. It's not good. It's definitely not Avengers. And why was that? Because they didn't have a roadmap. They didn't know where they were going. They might have known like the end point that they wanted to get to a Justice League movie, but they didn't know the steps to get there. So that way the payoff of having a Justice League movie would matter. Now, MiHoYo has released their roadmap, right? We know where we're going per patch. Like we got Inazuma. I'll be honest, I don't know the other places besides Inazuma, but we have all the major locations set up. The problem is I don't think they know the actual internal details of all these different locations. Are we going to have like these multiplayer raids, this endgame content, something beyond that like official Mona event, the Sarge something event? That was not what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for like the Ascension quest where you go through the dungeon, but instead of having like, you know, a couple miniatures, we have like 2 hypostases in there, right? Or like 2 Regisvine, or something that's just like really hard to kill. Like Abyss Floor 12 right now, those 2 Geobishops, they're annoying as hell to fight, because if they get you in a combo all at once, you're just toast. You're toast. We were trying to do just Razor and Diona doing that floor on stream. It is not fun. It is real hard, but it was the most fun I've had in a long time because I actually had to try. And that's the thing, is like, if they don't have this more difficult content planned, what are we working towards? We're grinding up these levels to make it so that this combat is easier for us, but for what? It's not there, and I'm concerned that MiHoYo does not have a plan going forward. Now, a counter argument to this is that potentially MiHoYo was not planned for the popularity of this game. It's highly likely that they were building this as a mobile game and their team was a lot smaller than it should be. So right now they're kind of playing catch up, right? It takes a long time to develop things behind the scenes. It's not like they're like, oh, we need new content. Boom. Next week we got new content. You know, maybe they were playing, they're playing for a long game, right? Honkai's been out for years. So they know they can play a long game and players will stick around. And maybe they were playing for that, but maybe also like their team was too small. They didn't develop enough in advance. So now we're getting to that point where they're like, oh, okay, we need to start hiring a lot more people. And then they get to that point where they do hire people, but they're so far behind that now they're kind of playing catch up. And that's the reason why we're not getting leaks, because they don't even know what's coming in the next patch. It might be the patch after that. So in their defense, that might be the case, but we don't know because they don't let us know anything until like 2 days before it gets released, which is quite frankly absurd. If you are behind, let us know. We are understanding people. If that's the case, things are running a little bit slower. Cool, as long as we know it's coming. But right now, we don't even know what content is coming, and that is the main problem. Whew. All right. Can we say rant over? Potentially rant over. I know a lot of you guys are having the same exact thoughts out there. It's honestly, people have been having it for longer than I am. I've been pretty optimistic, but you know, I see tweets like this and I think about it and it's like, okay, we still have security issues. We still have resin issues. We have no idea when any content is coming. Right now, we're getting we're in filler arc season right now. It's like, if these are the problems we're having, why are your main focuses on leaks? It doesn't make sense. Be transparent. You guys know I've been very transparent with everything regarding myself. I try and be transparent because in the end, that's what gives players confidence. As long as they know kind of what's going on in your head, people are very forgiving. But unfortunately, MiHoYo, not even transparent. They're not even communicating. It's like, what's going on? So we'll see in the future. We'll see if we can keep up with this. God, hopefully they do something, because as of right now, a lot of players are starting to lose confidence, and that's not good. You know, I love this game. I'll be sticking around. I'm still optimistic that they're playing for some kind of end game, but a lot of people aren't that patient. A lot of people don't have that time. But guys, that's all I got for today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did and you want to support me, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like the video, and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss a video. Also join us over on Discord. Link will be down in the description as always. Guys, that's all I got for today. Hopefully you did enjoy. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.